really underestimate the time it takes to get out here. So one gentleman called me, Abdullah, he's from Turkey. He says he's running late, so if I get a phone call, maybe someone could just duck out and grab me. He'll probably be the only guy standing out there and we can't miss him. But meanwhile, Muzaffar and I, we can just have a dialogue and just talk here. And when he comes, we'll just have him jump into the conversation as well. So with that, Muzaffar, talk to us about yourself. Tell us, who you are, where you're from, how long you've been in the States, and then just explain a little bit about who you are.
Sure. I came to the U.S. in 1998. I was basically studying there, then I started working as a computer programmer. So I'm in the IT world. Can you hear me okay in the back? Okay. So I'm a computer programmer. The world had a Y2K bug going on. Everybody was like scared to death. So they said, "Do you know computers?" "Yes, come on over." Just come on over. So that's what brought me here. And I saved the world. Nothing happened. So that's how I came here. I worked in Sioux City, South Dakota for the first 2 years.
What was that like?
That was like something that I've never witnessed before. So I'm originally from Pakistan. Hot climate, summers are around 110, 15 degrees. Winter, the coldest it gets is 35 degrees. So if it's freezing, it's like, oh my God, the world's gonna end. And I came here in August, which is probably the hottest time there. And in a couple of months, it was below freezing and snow and ice. So my wife came with me. She stayed here for 2 months, and then she said, "You know what? I'm going to go back and spend the winter over there, and I'll come in summer." So I have a wife. I have 2 daughters. The younger one is in 1st grade, and the older one is in the 9th grade. So a high schooler and then an elementary schooler. I work in IT for a company here in downtown Indianapolis, and I'm a Muslim. I was born as a Muslim. And I'm also part of a Muslim community who's called Ahmadiyya Muslim community. It is a community that was started by Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. His last name was Ahmad, that's why his community is called Ahmadiyya. And he was born in India about 200 years ago. And he claimed to be the metaphorical second coming of Jesus. Muslims are waiting for Jesus to come back, just like Christians are waiting for the second coming. And he claimed that he is that second coming. And what he did was he basically told Muslims that through the last 1300 years, there have been concepts in Islam that have been changed and distorted just because of the passage of time. So he told Muslims to correct the concept of jihad, for example. He said there is no violent jihad allowed in Islam. So he told his followers, no violence. If you want to defend yourself, use the pen, write about it, talk about it, try to convince people. So no violence. And then there's some other concept, the creation versus evolution, and the importance of prayer. I was hearing the sermon today, and that's exactly what I believe in. We all need to be praying 24/7, whatever we do. So I think that Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they're all true religions, and they all have probably 95% of the same teachings and concepts. And I just love to talk to other faiths, and I think the best thing for all to do is to talk to different people of different faith instead of just seeing TV or hearing a radio broadcast about so-and-so, because it just gives a different feel. And I'll end my introduction just by saying that there is no single definition of a Muslim out there. So we think we are here and the Muslims over there. There is no such thing as a Muslim out there. They're all different groups, just like I told you I'm from Ahmadiyya community, and this community is not the same as the Shia or the Sunni or Wahhabi or any other sect that you may hear about. So there's diversity everywhere.
Yeah, and which is a great reminder, because unfortunately we were hoping to have a Shiite woman. Where was she from, by the way?
She is also from Pakistan.
Oh, she's from Pakistan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, she's
and unfortunately, she fell ill or not feeling well, and she couldn't come today, which is unfortunate. We really were hoping she was here. But the 2 students that are coming, or one of them I know, One's from Turkey and the other one's from Kuwait. They're both Sunni Muslims. Remember last week we learned about the difference between Shiites and Sunnis and how there was this disagreement on how Islam, the leader of Islam, where he should come from. And just so you know as well, and I forgot to explain this at the beginning, I just have some questions I'm going to be asking Muzaffar and our phantom panel members. And after that, I just want to open up questions to you. So, if you have some questions or things that have popped in your mind over the last few weeks as we've learned about the beginning of Islam and about Muhammad and about his beliefs and practices, this is your time to ask them, because we're here as learners. We want to be respectful. And so that's our agenda here, I guess. So I've got some canned questions for him, and then we'll open it up. So Muzaffar, my first question for you is, what's it like to practice Islam here in America as opposed to being in Pakistan? I mean, what are some differences that you sense being here in this country?
In Pakistan, being in part of the Ahmadiyya community, Ahmadiyya community is persecuted in Pakistan. They're not considered mainstream Muslims just because of their differences in some of the concepts. So this country, America, when I came here, I just immediately felt a sense of relief. Freedom of expression, freedom of religion. I can say whatever I feel inside, and don't worry about anybody else getting mad to me. So I saw a lot of diversity here. When I came, I worked for a company that was owned by Indians. So I met several Indians, of course Christians were my co-workers, neighbors, friends, Jews, Sikhs. So there's a lot of different religions, and they all are happy practicing their religion. So that's probably the best thing about it.
A couple weeks ago, we had a good laugh. You were telling me about a couple of your coworkers, who they are. And that's, so, you were saying you're kind of caught in the middle of some of their discussions.
Yeah.
Remember that? Can you say who they are? And that's very funny what you said.
I don't know which conversation.
Which one?
We had several, so.
Well, you have the very, the devout homosexual worker, and then you have this very
exactly.
extreme right.
That's what I was thinking about. Okay, all right. Yeah, in my office, one of my coworkers is a pastor's wife. She sits right next to me, and
you're here now.
she's very religious and just goes by the book.
Okay.
Then I have another coworker who's a homosexual. He's a gay, and Then I have another lady who is kind of, I don't know if you've heard about Kabbalah, but that's the religion. I don't know if she even calls it a religion, but it's more of a spiritual concept. So I have a big diversity, and I've never met a gay before in my life. And I used to think like, oh my God, these gay people, I don't know what they do, or if they see me, what they'll do. But it's just regular people, So
Welcome to America.
yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's just beautiful that everybody can work in the same room, sit around the same table, and have so much difference. A Christian priest's wife, a gay, a Muslim from Pakistan. So it's just a big happy
That's
family.
great. Well, there are other students here. He's coming, and while he's coming, I want to follow up on a question, or follow up on something you said earlier. Tell us about your experience in the service today. I know you've been to some other Christian churches, but as an outsider coming into church, hearing the message, what kind of stood out to you? What are some of your thoughts and observations? You talked a little bit about the message, but just help us, help us see it through your eyes.
Yeah, I think I said in the beginning, I just love to hear different religion and leaders in different religions talk, and I believe that the message is mostly the same. So I saw the exact same thing today. The beautiful message that we need to pray all the time. Not when it's hurting or when we are against a wall or in a corner. I think that's what the message of Islam is as well, that you just pray to God for help. And even I sometimes struggle, what am I praying for? God knows what I want, so why do I have to ask for it? But I think it gives me personally a peace of mind, a humbleness, just accepting that God is just the big force out there and I need him or it or her, whatever you want to call it. So I love the message that we need to pray and just pray for our country, for our souls, for our neighbors, for the whole world, I think. So I really enjoyed the message.
Did you get one of those prayer guides, by the way, the 40 days?
I did not pick
We'll
one.
try to find one for you.
Sure.
He will have one when he leaves.
Okay,
Right there.
great.
Okay.
Oh,
There it is. There it is.
Take it out.
I did.
Desperate for change. Yeah.
I know where you could get more.
Well, I'm not sure what happened to our guest coming in. I'm sorry.
One thing I want to say, the way the pastor and the other guy, they said that, America is in a very difficult situation, a very tough spot. And I look at the world and I say, no, this is a beautiful place. A lot of things are going very well. So compared to the rest of the world, it's all relative. So if you just look from within America, things look bad. But if you look internationally, things are pretty good. So not to say that we don't need to pray, but it's not all bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure where our guest is and where our friend went out to the kids. But we'll just keep going here. Muzaffar, tell us what you like best about Islam.
I think you asked me the same question last time you met. It's a difficult question.
Yeah.
It's like saying, what do you like best about your kids? They're my kids. That's probably the best thing. What's the best thing about Islam?
Hey, that's all right. Welcome. That's all right. You found it. Well, come on. Have a seat. We're just getting started. You're
Sit here. Hello.
Muzaffar.
Abdullah. Nice to meet you.
Can we put a pause on?
Well, guys, how are you?
We're just getting started. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
And you found it. It's great.
It was a little bit late because of traffic. I'm coming from Fishers.
Wait, we're just getting started. We're just doing some introductions. And wow, I hate to put you on the spot, but can you just tell us who you are and where you're from and what are in the world are you doing in Indianapolis, Indiana?
Tough question. My name is Abdullah. I'm from Turkey. I graduated from a university in Istanbul and went to Bosnia-Herzegovina. I took my master's degree there. I'm a computer science is my major. And I came here to take my PhD. And I will start in January in IUPUI. This is the case. I've been here for the last 8 months, 9 months. I'm single, the most important part. That's it.
That's great.
I have one brother, one mother, and one father.
Sure.
And they're living in Turkey, Ankara.
That's great. Now, right now, you're at the studying English at the ES.
No, I finished it.
We finished. Okay.
Actually, this was the case. I had TOEFL. My score was not enough. It was enough to attend to Bosnian universities, but not enough for here.
Okay.
I took again TOEFL. English proficiency exam that you have to take. If you're a foreigner, you cannot attend university if you don't take the exam. I got 90 out of 120. It's a little bit hard exam.
Just look at it. Well, congratulations. So
Well,
you
I think your
passed?
English is great.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Very good. Ask me that.
Well, good. So you said in January you'll start then
Yeah.
with the PhD program.
That's
in
right.
Computer science. Excellent. Well, good. Well, thanks for coming and telling us about yourself. But I just asked Muzaffar this question, and I want to ask you: is you've been in you grew up in Turkey, a Muslim country. You've been in Bosnia, which is a Muslim country. Now you've been in the States for a few months. What's it like being a Muslim in this country versus like in Turkey or in Bosnia? Tell us what that's like being in this country as a Muslim.
Let me start from there. I have two names actually. My name is Muhammad Abdullah. But when you come to a new country, if it is United States or England, it goes to abbreviation that it comes with M. Abdullah. Because I faced with this problem at the entrance, at the custom line at the airport. They asked me, "This is Muhammad." Oh wait, hold on. There's a problem. There was 10,000 Muhammad. I don't know why. I wait for 1 hour at the entrance. They said you have to wait here. We cannot take you, let you into our country. And I wait for 1 hour. This was the most hardest time to wait for me, as using this name, that Muhammad. As you know, that Muhammad is our prophet's name, and it's really common, popular name in the Islamic region. And living in Turkey, it's a democrat country. You can see lots of people, lots of different people. It's a little bit different than Bosnia. I was not expecting same thing. When you are going to foreign country, you're already preparing yourself that it will be hard. But let me tell you something, that it's not hard to live in the United States, because I gave visit to Croatia, Slovenia, Serbia, those Balkan regions. If you're living there, it's really easy to visit those places. It's about 2 hours to go to Zagreb, which is capital city in Croatia, or 4 hours Belgrade is the capital city of Serbia. Those cities, those countries are much more tough than here, because they are close to everything. They don't want someone to come from outside, because maybe of our history, you know, Ottoman Empire were there before, they were fighting against each other. They have an old story, old enemies history, but people, they don't forget these things easily. But living in here, it's really simple as a Muslim. Beside of these name problem, I had no problems here. I can easily attend to church, and I did before. And I ask questions. Sometimes they're not answering because, you know, let me tell you this. I told you before that. You know, every time when I go to church, they're asking, okay, Abdullah, what you're asking? What's your question? And after some time, you feel that you are potentially convertible person for them. You know, and I didn't like this idea. You know, because I really want to learn about Christianity. What is it? How do you look to Jesus? Because we have same stories in our holy book. You know, we have our own beliefs to Jesus, all other stuff, heaven, hell, all kind of stuff. I just want to learn, and I faced with this problem for 2 times. Okay, come here, go there, go do this, do that. I just want to ask a few questions. What is it? Besides that, I don't know. Is it difficult? If you have any questions, really, I don't know where to go actually.
Take it wherever you want.
Yeah.
So that's good. So you found it pretty easy to be a Muslim?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Now, do you attend any mosques here in the city?
Few mosques actually.
Okay.
There is no problem with attending mosques. You can freely do whatever you want in a legal procedure. This is the case. But in Bosnia, we don't have the same thing, you know. In Bosnia, if you're a Muslim, if you attend a mosque, then you must probably written down on a list of Serbian police station that you're not allowed to go to anywhere easily. It's a bit hard case there. They're listing everything. In Turkey, we have new Muslim people. You know, we call. I don't want to go to this topic because I don't like. But they start to generate their own religion thing. I think you have same thing in Christianity here. You know, people start to do which is banned in Holy Book, which is not allowed to do too much. You know, even in Turkey, you can have same problems, some problems. But this country, which I love the most in the United States, you can do whatever you want. You know, in legal way, I mean, you know.
Clarify that.
I'm not a terrorist anymore. The terrorist part is, which I hate this word, terrorism. In the whole book it says that Muslim cannot be terrorist. But every time when I turn on the TV, there is a Muslim against Muslim programs or against our religious things, our Prophet Muhammad's things. You know, if we can understand each other, we can solve this problem. But they're not seeing these problems in our way. They don't want to solve this problem, especially in media, I think. No, they want to go over this topic, and I hate this terrorist equals to Muslim part. No, they're not terrorists.
That's good. Let's stick with that for a second. You know, let's talk about what happened a few weeks ago. You know,
About Benghazi?
yeah. Let's Muzaffar, if you want to give your perspective, and Abdullah can talk about it. But you know, talk about us what you felt as a Muslim. You know, from you know, the video that was produced, and then the reaction in the Muslim world, and then you know, kind of the reaction that you saw here in this country. So you know, tell us what you think about all that.
Yeah, I heard about that video, I think, after our ambassador was assassinated in Libya. before that I never heard about this video, and I'm sure all of you were the same way. We all heard about it after that incident, and then the whole, a lot of countries in the Muslim world, they had protests and violent protests, and in my home country of Pakistan, I think more than 20 to 30 people died in those protests. And it's just crazy. I don't understand why they get violent. And maybe I do understand. I think the reason is that there's a lot of hatred, anger, and there are a lot of young guys in these countries that are poor, they don't have no education, and they are being used by these extremists in the society to just basically for their own agendas. So these young guys, they are just hyped up, they become emotional, they have nothing to lose, so they just go on a rampage. So that's what I think happened, and it really hurts me. But what also hurts me, and I've been having this discussion with one of my colleagues at work, that the freedom of speech in America and in West is a beautiful thing. But I personally feel that in this age of media, the social media and YouTube, what I say can be seen in Egypt or Turkey in probably 10 minutes from now, through that camera and through this computer, and it's everywhere. So I think it may be, and it's just my personal opinion, that it may be a time to revisit that, maybe draw some line in the sand that say freedom of speech is good, but just don't ridicule somebody just for the sake of ridiculing it, because I don't think it helps anybody. I don't see a benefit of it. So that's my opinion, that what happened in the Muslim world was absolutely wrong. The violence is absolutely not justified in any way. But what this guy did in California, I'm sure all of you, without even asking you, I'm sure all of you agree that he did a wrong thing.
Right.
The question is, should we do anything about it, or should we say, you know what, he said what he felt like, and that's it? I think we need to think about it. So that's my opinion.
That's a good point. Abdullah, tell us your thoughts.
Every time I see this kind of news, I feel sad, unbelievably sad, because it's not our habit. We hadn't do this kind of thing. As a Muslim person, I feel like those brothers, they're living in Libya. Now we have a problem in Syria, and you know about it. We have to be patient, but sometimes, we have this sentence in our literature that evil turns around you for all time and tries to catch your weak time. I believe this happened there, and this violence, this everything happened there. I think it's based on education that, and I can see in our region, even in Turkey, that we're well-developed, not good, but a little bit okay, our development style, but I can see that we are not well-educated people. We are not reading, not only literature, science books, our holy book. Now people start weakening some things in their religious life that affects our lives there. And also about Libya case, it's completely different because they have no presidents, no armies, no security, nothing is there. So actually we were expecting something there, but it's really sad to happen to American ambassador, because I know that ambassador, God bless him, they loved him too much. They were recording videos about him, these Libyan people. I heard about it, I read it. I really don't know what to say, but I'm praying.
Abdullah, it's easy to say that the lack of education equals conflict, violence. However, I disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
A spiritual life can be done, a righteous life, a righteous understanding, a righteous heart can overcome the lack of education. You two gentlemen are learned, educated folks. And I suspect that what you're saying is very true from a standpoint of your countries, your homeland, have a high degree of illiterate folks or lack of education. But I feel like, my personal opinion is that does not necessarily breed violence if there is a righteous heart within the individual.
That's right.
And a righteous heart, you can be illiterate, but if the word is learned by our preachers, by our what is taught through the verbalization of our Bible, for example. So an illiterate Christian is not focused on violence. He's focused on love.
But you know what?
I'm just gonna jump in there real quick and say, we will take some Q&A later.
Okay.
I don't want us to,
Okay.
this
Okay.
isn't a debate, we're here to learn.
Okay. Okay.
So I just wanna make that clear.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, sir, I haven't met you, you haven't been here the past couple of weeks in the class.
You're absolutely right.
So, we
No.
wanna respect these gentlemen
Okay.
here, so I'm sorry. And we'll, if you wanna answer
No.
that's fine.
I really
I just
want
wanna
to
make sure
answer.
these gentlemen
No.
are respected while they're here, okay?
I understand that if you're connected to God with your heart. We say it, ilm al-yakin and ayn al-yakin, you're not well connected, but you know it. And ayn al-yakin, that you're seeing and you're understanding there's God, you have responsibilities, you have everything. And you have to do that. But this weakening part affects everything. And if you're dealing in Turkey that we have, you are getting science. I'll give you just one sentence then. In the science, human described as an animal, right? But in Holy Book, human describes as a human because of his soul. Now, some people understand that because they are well connected to God. They understand it's science, it's Holy Book, but we have to connect it to Holy Book, but we have to get to science. But some people, they're not getting the point. At that point, they lost their gravity, and they can do everything.
That's cool.
Mr. Sorry to respond.
The only thought that comes to my mind is that Christianity, the teachings are more focused on love, turn the other cheek. So that's the predominant concept in Christianity. To turn the other cheek, no fight, just love, harmony, and peace. But I would just say one sentence that if you look in the history, Christians have been violent, right? So I think Muslims are going through the same phase. It's like Christians are here, Muslims are here, we are both rising. So it's sometimes Muslims get better, then Christianity is better. So I think, as I said, 95% of the teachings are the same. It's nut jobs, they're in every religion. Right now Islam is going through that phase where there are more craziness in the Muslim world. And economics have to do, education and economics have to do a lot more to that than religion. That's what my belief is.
Let's talk about something else. Well, I'll ask you guys one more question, and then we'll open it up here for some Q&A here. But what are the biggest misconceptions that you think that Christians, Americans in general, just have about Islam? What are some misconceptions that you feel that Americans have?
You want to take that first?
Actually, misconception. I have to think on it.
While you think on it, let me tell one that I think. I think that Americans think Muslims all think the same, act the same, dress the same, eat the same, get angry the same way, love the same way. But it's a diverse part of the world. So there are different Muslims. Abdullah may have a difference of opinion than I do. And Muhammad, my friend here, he may think differently than I do. So that's the only thing I would like to say, that don't think Muslims are all just one in a box. There's diversity.
If they try to understand, just one little trip can show you how Muslims live there. I suggest you to go and see. It doesn't matter if it is Turkey or Bosnia or other Muslim country. Just go and see how they're living, how they're loving each other, how they're getting married. When you open your mind and try to understand, believe me, you can find a way to solve the puzzle. We are living in our own world as a Muslim people. That I'm not saying as a Turkish that we are as Muslims, that we have our own cultures, our own traditions, which are connected sometimes to religion, which are based on our historical part sometimes. But I see that American people, Not all of them, but I'm talking about uneducated one. But I met with people which are really well developed, well educated people. Sometimes I can face with people that they're not asking you even, Abdullah, what are you doing? Why you're here? They are just asking, oh, you're Muslim. What you're doing here? Get out of here. No, they have to understand. They have to see what I'm doing. What I'm doing here. And I am a PhD candidate in university, and I came here to take the best education in the world to go back to my country. This is my reason. Hopefully, after some time, I'll give same quality of education in my country and try to find some high-quality students to send here. This is the case.
I'll just add to that, that you don't even need to go to Turkey or Pakistan or anywhere. Try to find a Muslim. There are some Muslims living in this city. So just try to talk to somebody and you learn more. It's much easier than before.
It's not related to actually religion, you know. Every person has his or her own world, you know. Doesn't matter. If you want to talk, if you want to learn something, just ask.
Exactly. Yeah,
That's what we're not doing in our countries, you know. As Muslim people, I wish to ask other people, as a Muslim, I wish to be there and learn from outside what they have, what we don't have. I was watching Saudi Arabian television series a few days ago. They are sending their cameraman, people, interviewers to other countries to see, for example, that chapter was related to traffic system. You know, they came to Istanbul and they came to New York. The traffic control stations, they're recording it, how they are controlling, and they're trying to imply same thing in their own country. I wish all our countries, all Muslim countries would do that, really. And maybe we have some better parts in our countries that you don't have. I believe there is. This is what I think.
You know, it just caused me to, I lied, I got one more question. So, but my perception is, and maybe you can correct this or tell me I'm wrong, but it seems like when I look at the West and I look at Muslim countries, like in the West, you know, when things are much more level in terms of if a teacher says something, students, they ask questions, maybe they're cynical, they don't often believe it, and so there's this, you know, in the West we're encouraged to learn things for ourselves. And my perception is in the Middle East and other countries, Muslim countries, where someone says something and people just believe it and they don't really question. Is that true, or am I incorrect in thinking that?
I think America is a more individualistic society. So I am more important than we as a family or as a city or as a nation. I think Americans question more. The level of respect in the East, the Muslim world, at least I can speak of for Pakistan, where students, if teacher says, do this, the student usually don't say, why should I do this? They just do it. So it's respect for teachers, for parents, for older siblings, for an older person in general. So if somebody older than me on the street just say, hey, don't do that, I will not say, who are you to telling you not to do that? So that's just a general cultural thing. I don't think it's a religious thing. I think it's a cultural thing. I think it was similar here 50 or 100 years ago. So it's just changing. But I personally like this concept of questioning things, but in a limit. So we should be respectful, but we should always ask, why?
Do you have any comments on that, Bill?
I think that United States has multicultural thing 100 years ago, 200 years ago, and you solve the problems immediately with good leadership. You know, I'm just now reading about Lincoln. You know, I'm seeing the life, how they live, how they try to solve the problems. But in our culture, that we are trying to solve our problems by ourselves. You know? We're not talking to each other. No. In one scholar, Turkey, that we have one scholar, he says that in other nations, they are trying to solve their problems with talking to each other. It was our habit before, but what happened, I don't know, we lost everything. But we are not talking to each other. We are trying to find solutions by ourselves. This is where we start to lose. He says that. I believe this happened, and about the cultural thing that we respect all people. You don't have that, but still, when I go to my country, when I see my grandfather, I kiss his hand. This is my custom. And I try to help the people walking on the road. They try to help carry their stuff if they need help. You know, whatever, you had same thing, we have now. But you know, life is changing. Life starts to turn. You know, we start to forget about religious part because life is hard. We have to earn money. Money takes all the place. Whatever you look, you start to see money. So this is the case.
Interesting. That's interesting. Well, now it's time to open up to you guys, ask questions of these gentlemen, and yeah, let's hear some of your questions right now. Or maybe there isn't
I
any.
think I have a basic one.
Okay.
For either of you, how do you contrast Christ with Muhammad? Is Christ the Messiah, or is Muhammad, or how, who's ahead of who, I guess?
I see.
And who do you believe?
You know, in the Holy Book, in the Quran, it says that Jesus was the soul of the God.
He
Which
was
is
what?
Jesus is a soul from God, which is given to Maryam, the mother of the Jesus. And Jesus described as a prophet, like Muhammad. This is the case in
But the
our religion.
teachings you follow are Muhammad.
Yeah, but we believe in Islam rules. If you're accepting Islam, there are five rules. And one of them says, believing to prophets. If I don't believe to Jesus, I'm not Muslim. If I don't believe to Moses, I'm not Muslim. This is the case.
So Muslims believe in all prophets.
Say it again?
Muslims believe in all prophets, starting from Adam to Abraham to Moses to Jesus to Muhammad. So for Muslims, Jesus is just another prophet, just like Moses was, and Muhammad is the last one in that chain of prophets.
Yeah. Basically, you don't particularly agree or believe in the ascension of Christ.
You know, Muslims do believe that Jesus went alive to heavens and he's going to come back. Some Muslims,
Well, you did say that.
majority of the Muslims believe that, right?
That's right.
But some, like the Ahmadiyya community that I'm part of, they don't believe that. They said Jesus was just another prophet who died just like any other prophet, and his second coming is a metaphorical coming, not a physical coming. But that's a minority. The majority of the Muslims do believe that he went alive into the heavens and will come down alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same concept.
Go ahead, Beck. Go ahead.
Well, I guess this could be a question for both of you. Muzaffar would mainly be concerning your daughters in this case, but I know I'm a student too, and so do you find it hard, like as a student, having time to take time like for prayers or to to practice like Islam in America as a student and all? Like, do you find that hard to have time to do that? Or is it a part of like your way of life still?
It comes to your lifestyle actually, but if you organize things on your prayers instead of your classes or subjects, it's much more easier.
Okay.
You know? And it takes maybe 15 minutes in a day to pray. But it depends on your mind, really. If you're focused on your religion, which we have to do, but sometimes our brothers are forgetting the prayer and focusing on question. But we have to do that way, and sometimes we can have the same conflict.
So but it is really important to you then.
Definitely.
Still. Okay.
We have to pray. That Islamic rule says that if kid becomes mature, it's for a boy, it's about 13 years old. They have to start praying. For ladies, 12 or 11, I don't know. Yeah. Every day, 5 times, we have to pray.
And that's what I was thinking of with listening to the pastor today, that Islam already has that built in. You're supposed to pray 5 times a day. First thing you wake up, last thing before bed, and then 3 times, one at noon, one in the afternoon, and one at sunset. So there is a constant prayer that every Muslim has to do in their life, and it takes about 5 minutes to 10 minutes, depending on on how long you take.
There was a question that came up last week, and I forget who asked it. Did you? Yeah, about, go ahead. It was a good question.
Really, my question was, in your prayer times, your personal prayer times, it's kind of a difficult question, but it's really two-part. What kind of things are you praying for? And as a Christian, we direct our prayers towards somebody we call Father. And Father God is a typical way we look at who we're directing the prayers to, as a very personal one-on-one relationship. So, two-part question. One is, what kind of things are you praying for, and how is it directed? Does that make any sense to the question?
Yeah. Let me take that. The prayer, the Muslim prayer, is very different than Christian prayer. When a Christian is praying, usually what I see, they close their eyes, they bow their head, and then they start either talking loudly or within their heart, having a one-on-one conversation in your own language. So if you speak English, you're talking in English. Muslims have a very defined or structured way of praying. So they're supposed to stand up, do like this, and then hold their hands like this, then they need to lean and bow down, and they need to recite words in Arabic, the same way the Prophet Muhammad used to pray. So there are a lot of Muslims who don't even understand Arabic. So some of them, which I feel are very unfortunate, they don't even know what they're saying. They just start muttering words and blah, 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 and they're done, and then they move on. But what they do know that they're standing in front of the God, and they're just asking for His blessing. There are others who understand what they're saying. Either their mother language is Arabic, or like me, who at least learned what those words are. And then I also even add my own words wherever I feel like. And I do believe in that personal God just like you do. I don't call it Father, I usually call it God or Allah, which is the Arabic equivalent of the word God. So Muslims talk to God or Allah, whereas Christians, you refer to that entity as Father, Lord. So I think it's the same entity, whoever created us, whoever created the universe. So that's the commonality, but this way is different.
The question was not so much about who we're praying to as an entity, but the relationship that you have with whomever this entity is. In our case, is a very personal relationship. And is it that way in Islam?
I would say yes.
Okay.
No, actually, when you start to pray, all scholars in Islamic literature, they say that you have to start to prayer like you are praying in front of the God.
Yeah.
This is the most important point.
Like He's seeing you.
That's right. And everywhere in prayer, that, for example, we are, in every standing we read that Fatiha is the one chapter in Holy Book Quran. It says that Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, thank you so much, Allah, that Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. There are deep meanings all in these words. For example, this Rahman is the blessing which Allah bless you on the earth. The Rahim is the same equivalence, but same blessing on the other world. If you're understanding all these parts in Arabic letters, that you can start to understand what is the communication. And I have a good memory about this. I went to Mecca for 2 times. One of these trips, we were praying in a holy mosque, and the leader, the imam that we call, which is leading the prayer, was praying loudly that we can hear him. He started to read one chapter in the Quran that I was not understanding Arabic that time. And people start to cry after some time. All of them in the mosque. Can you imagine that? I don't know, there must be about 1 million people, I'm not sure. They all start to cry. At that point, I understand that. Shame on you, Abdullah, you're not understanding those words. Really. This is the prayer in our religion, that you have to be connected to Allah directly, not to someone. Or you have to be you have to left everything behind. This is the case.
Our prayers are, I wouldn't say are individualized. You talked about the ritual or the certain prayer in Arabic and people don't know. Is there a different prayer for morning, noon, afternoon, and evening, or is it all the same words?
It's all the same words, but the length is usually different. So in the morning prayer may take 3 minutes, the noon prayer may take 7 minutes, the afternoon prayer may take 4 minutes, so only the length is different, but the words and what you say or what you do is pretty much the same. The repetition is less or more.
Even though the illiterate say it and don't maybe know what it means or says, who teaches that to them? Parents?
Parents, they're mosque leaders, they're church leaders, in this case pastors, and different classes that they attend in the mosque when they're growing up. That's how I learned in the mosque growing up, that this is what you're saying, but this is what it means.
Is the Quran in Turkish language and Pakistani language, or is it only in Arabic?
Quran is in Arabic language,
Only?
and I've left a copy there. There are different books about Islam, so you're free to take those books if you feel like. Quran was revealed in Arabic,
Uh-huh.
and it is still preserved in the original text. So even that book has original Arabic as well as English translation.
Then my question was, do they have the same thing for you as a Pakistani and as a Turkey? Do they have like they translate it to English, do they do that for you in your language, technically, or no?
Actually, we have translations to
Okay.
understand it.
You do have.
We all use same Arabic version.
In your prayers and everything.
That's right.
So you can use your own language and then learn the Arabic from that? Is that what you're saying?
Actually, you can use it, but in our prayers, we cannot use our own language.
Okay, I understand that. But to help you understand, you can use.
That's
your-
right, definitely.
Is that book the Quran?
Yeah, the most thickest book is the Quran. Right next to that weighs.
No.
Can I ask a question here? Switch gears a little bit. And it was our understanding, we talked a little bit last week about heaven and hell, and what does that look like to a Muslim, heaven and hell?
You have an answer? Sure. I didn't see it, really.
It's a deep concept. But at a surface level, heaven and hell is what people will get after they die. If they've been nice, they'll get heaven. If they've been naughty, they'll get hell. So this is the very simple concept.
That's right.
Right? On a more deeper meaning, some Muslims will tell you that heaven and hell starts from this world. So if you are doing good deeds, if you have peace of mind, if you're connecting, if you feel like you have a live connection with God, this is your heaven. And if you're doing bad things and you're frustrated and angry and just have a burning inside of you, that's the hell. So I personally feel
Maybe that's the
At
core
the end of the
question.
story,
How will a Muslim get in heaven based on it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I
at
didn't
the,
know how to
at the
ask
end
that.
of the story,
I know we're. Can we go like 5, 10 more minutes?
I believe that in also our literatures, Islamic literatures and Prophet's hadith, that every time you ask for mercy, this is the case. And even you do bad things, even you lost your virginity, doesn't matter, because Allah will forgive you for everything if you do the good things after that thing. And if you say that, I did this, but I'm so sorry. If you're honest with it, and Allah can know this, you're honest.
So there
That's-
is repentance
Definitely,
yeah.
on some things.
definitely. There's only one thing that Allah does not accept in the Holy Quran, and in ayat, we call the little chapter, it says that if you say there's another God, you're not, there's no apologies for that, and you're going directly to hell. Instead of all these things, whatever you do, you can ask for apologies. There is way to acceptance, there is way to be accepted to heaven.
I'm remembering a story. Prophet Muhammad told a story that there was a bad lady who did bad things throughout her life, and at the end of her life, she was walking and she saw a dog who was thirsty and was about to die because of thirst. And she stopped and she took her shoe off and dipped it into a well, and gave the water to that dog, and that good deed basically forgave all of our sins. So this concept of mercy, forgiveness is in Islam. I know it's a little bit different between Christianity, because in Christian, once you believe in Christ, He has paid for your sins. That concept is not in Islam. It's what you do, and then what you do to draw mercy from God. So Muslim is never 100% sure that I'm going to hell or heaven. It depends. Just like a consultant would answer, it all depends. So it depends on what you do.
Well, we've got, I just want to ask one more. Oh, I'm sorry, Muhammad.
I just want to add something to the concept of heaven and hellfire. In our belief as part of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, we believe that heaven is not a materialistic thing.
It's not a physical thing.
Yeah, it's not a physical thing. That's what I would say. When you die, the soul goes somewhere. The body is buried in the ground, and it gets destroyed. That soul gets to another world. Either it's going to hellfire, or it's going to heaven. And I can give an example to show or to get us an image that is close to the reality. When you in the dream, when you see something, you feel like you're struggling or you're happy during that time, and you can see the whole world during that dream, and that is not physically existing. That's an image that is close to what is going on in the hereafter. And also the hellfire, it's not a permanent thing. Like if you go to the hellfire, you'll stay in the hellfire forever. It depends on your sins. You spend a period in the hellfire, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or God, He forgive your, it's like you're going to jail for a crime that you did. Once you
Pay your dues.
you pay your dues and everything,
Get out of jail free.
you go to heaven. But there is still a difference. Those who went to heaven before you, you're not going to be at the same level they were in upper levels.
Yes, sir.
Does the concept, principle of grace enter into your faith at all? Granted, forgiveness we've just spoken about, but that is balanced, good deeds, bad deeds. What about grace? How do you reconcile or speak about grace in your faith, or is it left out entirely?
Can you explain what you mean by grace?
God, Jesus paid our debt. We're not concerned about, once we accept Christ as our Lord and Savior, it's by faith that we are saved, not by our deeds. So the concept of grace, does it apply at all in your faith?
Free gift.
It does apply to some extent, but not to the same extent as in Christianity. So the concept is there that God and Prophet Muhammad has the power. Basically, God has the power. Muhammad can be your lawyer, can just speak on your behalf. But God does have the power to forgive whoever He wants. But what can we do to earn that grace is to be good, is to follow the direction we've been given. So that's all I can say about the concept.
In the history that Prophet Muhammad's time, he was crying for some reason. And companions came and asked, what happened? Why are you crying? He said, I was praying to Allah, and I asked for success to my companions, to be wider in this world, and He accepted. But when I asked O Allah, accept this prayer and forgive all my companions' sins and all my followers' sins. Take them to your heaven. He didn't answer my call. And then Jibril, the angel of the Prophet, of the God, comes to the Prophet and says that, Muhammad, God didn't answer your call because your call's answer was given when human was created. The reason that people were sent to earth is the examination. Allah is testing them, and whoever succeeds in this test will go to heaven. But Allah promises that whoever follows you, whoever prays like you're doing, will be seen at the doomsday from their heart, from their arms, because of ablution. This is the story.
Very interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
You got time for one more question?
Do we?
Yeah.
I can stand it.
What is the view of Islam towards what we as Christians call the Bible? And I'll break that down. The Bible, as you understand it, is the Injil, what we call the New Testament, the book of Jesus, and then the Old Testament. I think you break that down into two books, and I forget what their names are. But what is the view of Islam towards those scriptures?
Yeah, Islam says that those were God's holy books that were revealed by God, and all Muslims are supposed to believe in them. But Quran is the newer version, the final version. So I personally see it like, since I'm a computer programmer, so I see Windows XP and Windows 7 and 95 and DOS. They're all doing the same thing. The underlying code is probably still the same, but it's just a new version.
Yeah.
So you can't say XP was wrong and 7 is right. They were both from Microsoft and they did the best at that time. Now it's a newer version. The older version will still work.
Torah is the senior one, actually. Bible is the middle one. The Quran is the last one. And we believe that all of them have same stories, same speeches, similar stories.
Can you align yourselves with the Church of the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons? What is your opinion of the Mormons?
My understanding is I've actually contacted a Mormon priest after I heard about Mitt Romney being a Mormon. I thought I should find it out. And they believe in Joseph Smith being a new prophet.
Right.
So the Ahmadiyya community, we believe in this Mirza Ghulam Ahmad to be a prophet because he claimed to be the second coming of Jesus. So I can draw a parallel there, but that's pretty much what I can say is that he claimed to be a prophet after Jesus. I don't know much more than that, so I can't comment anything else.
But it's rational if it's because you accept Muhammad,
Right.
who was after Christ and who was just a prophet.
Right.
So Joseph Smith could be accepted and just to be a prophet, and you could marry the relationship with Mohammedanism, Islam, and Mormonism.
The only I think I see different is that I see a straight line. So Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, and whoever next
Joseph
comes,
Smith, perhaps.
whoever next comes should validate this link. So if somebody's coming after Muhammad, who does not believe in Muhammad, then I have a doubt that it's like after XP you believe in Windows 7, but another version comes of XP, then 7 is the latest version. So a version from Microsoft should be after Windows 7, not another version of XP. I know I'm getting
So, Abdullah, if you want to say anything, we need to wind this down.
Yeah, it is.
Very good
As a
analogy.
new person, I heard about Mormons after Mitt Romney, 5-6 months ago. So I don't have deep knowledge about them.
Most Americans are the same boat. Yeah, so, one more. Well, if you guys want to keep staying, it's up to you guys. So, well, wait a minute, if people want to go ahead, and then we'll ask the question. Wait a second.
Take care.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
How do you view the Ten Commandments?
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, guys.
I've read 10 Commandments. I don't claim to remember all of them. But when I read them, they all sounded very good.
Now, both of you profess to be peaceful. I mean, the peaceful party.
I did, yeah.
How do you, can you have an explanation for the killings? That's the jihad and the radical or extreme, but it's still an offshoot, so to speak,
Yeah.
of religion. How do you sanction that, and do you pray about that?
About jihad, that jihad is described as an open attack.
It's pardon?
Jihad is explained as I understand it wrong completely. Jihad was jihad when people were attacking against your family, against your religion. That was the case 100 years ago. They were fighting just for that reason. Christianity is the big one, the Muslims, the Islam is the big one. But now we don't have that fight. So we are against
who
all
are
this.
these aggressors then that are attacking our embassies and killing?
Well, I don't want to go to this topic, but you have to know that, and I believe you are knowing about this thing. We have little extremist groups in all our countries. No. They are supported by terrorist groups, and we have a really big problem now in Turkey, which is called PKK, which is supported by some other countries, they say, but there's no clue, there's no proof. But they are doing all this kind of stuff.
Well, I think,
How do you view the Arab Spring movement? That's what they refer to it in this country.
No,
Is that a movement that is going to bring peace, or are they going to continue to be aggressors?
as a beginning, I was thinking that it's the best thing for our region, because the dictatorism is the worst thing that when you go those places, you can see that there's no development. Just because no development there. Country is same for last 100 years. There's no movement. But at the beginning, I thought that it's a really good thing. But now, when we see the Libyan case, now Egypt has some problems. There's no leadership.
They
that
seem
kind of stuff.
organized in their conquest, but they don't seem organized in the government, so to speak, or governing. And I don't, it worries. I'm very frankly, it worries the Christian.
Actually, you're right about worries about Christian.
I
But
have a hard time understanding you.
you're completely right about it. These people, they're extremist people, I believe. At the beginning, it was a good thing for them. When we are still Turkey as a government supports those countries. Also, against Syrian government, we are doing some kind of businesses there. But it's not good because in the Syrian case, for example, there are 5 different tribes. When they finished, Bashar Assad, can you imagine what will happen there? This is the case. And also, on the other hand, they're not well connected to religion at that point. Because they're all focused on the benefits of the country, which part we can get, what we can earn from this. And also, other countries, investors, people, they're going to serve there. They'll build their new countries. They have their own benefits there. They don't want some things to be settled there. That's another thing.
Now, in
Martha, we need to close this
Yeah.
out though.
in the governments that have been overthrown,
We can,
dictators.
you want to close it out?
Yeah,
If they
I
want to
guess.
talk
That as being a
afterwards,
good
that's fine.
thing, and the reorganization will bring on more freedoms and